NDTV Hindu.
Hello, fellow movie lovers. What a year 2009 has been, in terms of cinema, I mean. In the many hours I spent in dimmed halls, absorbed or bored at the action on the big screens, I knew at the back of my mind that at the end of the year, I would have to pick the 3 best films. And I must admit, I was a wee bit worried that maybe it would be a tough choice, selecting 3 when there have been nearly 100 releases this year. Tamil, Hindi and English collectively.
இந்த காதல் வந்து விட்டால் நம் தேகம் மிதந்திடுமே விண்ணோடும் முகிலோடும் விளையாடி திரிந்திடுமே
But I needn't have worried, because the 3 films that are clearly the winners have had absolutely no competition. Now, I've categorized them under Best Overall Acting, Best Direction and the Film of the Year. But I'm going to announce them only at the end of the show. I'm sure you won't mind, because I thought let's first do a recap. Let's look at the films that were an absolute disaster first and then move on to the mediocre ones before we end happily with the fabulous movies that defined 2009. In Kollywood, the write-offs were Ananda Tandavam, which was monstrously bad, with absolutely nothing to redeem it. And to think that it's an adaptation of a short story by author Sujata, what a grave injustice to that legendary writer. Another monumental disaster was Manjal Veil, with its theme of friendship and the supreme sacrifices that 2 friends make for each other. Of course, there's some silly romance and even sillier villainy thrown in. Manjal Veil was an infuriatingly tiresome film. The S.J. Surya starrer Newton in Moonram Vidhi was pacey, had its twists and turns, but soon descended into melodrama, blood and gore, worsened by heroine Sayali Bhagat's over-the-top acting. The next lot of films weren't all that bad, but when compared to the good ones this year, they didn't quite make it. Muttirai, Kulir Nooru, Peranmai and Adavan, all which had heavy doses of melodrama or were illogical for most part. Adavan's only saving grace was, of course, Surya.
Anjana, Anjana, Konjina, Tevana, Yenkana, Yenkana, Yendrume, Nidana.
In Bollywood, Main or Mrs. Khanna topped the list of appallingly bad movies, closely followed by the horror of horrors, Aladdin.
आपको शायद मालूम नहीं है, लेकिन आप एक जादुई चिराग और 3 विशेष के मालिक बन गए।
लेकिन ये सब तक कहानी है ना? How is it possible? Genie, lamp, 3 wishes.
Everything is possible.
However, there were many really good Hindi films this year, which I will list soon after we look at the Hollywood movies that didn't appeal greatly to me this year.
You're impossibly fast and strong. You gotta give me some answers.
The first 2 installments of the Twilight series brought 2 young and talented actors into the spotlight, Kirsten Scott and Robert Pattinson, but the film itself is for those having their first crushes. Final Destination lived up to its reputation of in-your-face, gory, literally, while G.I. Joe, Ugly Truth and Terminator, which may have worked for others, didn't work for me at all.
Guess what? I met a surgeon last night.
Well, you know what that means.
What?
I'd stick his finger up.
Oh, gross.
Did the surgeon ask you out?
Oh, my. Not yet.
Teach you flirting.
I know how to flirt.
Put the hot dog in slowly.
Oh! Whoa!
I don't think so.
Catherine Hegel was loud, crass, and insufferable. But enough about all this tepid fare. Let's take a short break and come back all refreshed to look at the films that lifted one's spirits on those blue days this year. Stay tuned.